Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're breaking down one of the most critical medical emergencies there is, a heart attack. We're going to cover what it is, what to do in the moment, and how to navigate that long road to recovery.
So let's really dive into this, because knowing the answers to these questions could quite literally save a life. Maybe even your own. First things first, let's get a really clear picture of what's actually happening inside your body during this crisis.
The easiest way to think about a heart attack is to imagine it's a plumbing problem. Blood flow to the heart muscle gets blocked, usually by a clot in an artery. And the longer that artery stays blocked, the more damage is done to the heart muscle itself. Okay, this is a big one. So many people get these two mixed up, and it's absolutely crucial to know the difference. A heart attack is that circulation issue, the plumbing problem we just talked about, where the person is often still awake. Cardiac arrest, on the other hand, is an electrical problem. The heart's rhythm goes haywire and it just stops beating. It's a huge distinction because a heart attack can sometimes lead to cardiac arrest, but they require very different immediate responses. Right, so these are the classic signs you see in the movies, the intense chest pressure, the pain down the arm. But here's the thing, and this is so important. A heart attack doesn't always follow the script. The symptoms can be really subtle, especially for women. They might feel more shortness of breath, nausea, or even just pain in their back or jaw. Okay, so you recognize the signs. Now what? Let's get into the most critical, life-saving actions you can take in those first few moments, because every single second counts. If you're with someone who's showing symptoms, this is your playbook. Step 1, and I cannot stress this enough, call 911. Don't wait. Don't wonder if you're overreacting. Just call. While you wait for help, have them sit down and rest. A single 325 milligram chewable aspirin can be a real game changer if they're not allergic, because it helps stop the clot from getting worse. And if they happen to have prescribed nitroglycerin, help them take it. But what if it's you and you're all alone? The first step is exactly the same. Call 911 right away. Then do this one simple, incredibly practical thing. Unlock your front door. It lets the paramedics get to you that much faster. Lie down or sit calmly, anything to reduce the strain on your heart. And then, once you know help is on the way, call a loved one. You see all sorts of stuff online, and some of it is downright dangerous. This slide hits on a big one, cough CPR. Let's be crystal clear, it's not a thing. The American Heart Association is very firm on this. It makes no physiological sense. For a heart attack, you call 911 and rest. For cardiac arrest, you need real CPR. Coughing just doesn't cut it. Surviving the event itself, that is a massive, massive victory. But it's really the first step. The next chapter is the journey back to health, and that starts the second you leave the hospital. Coming home from the hospital, that's a huge milestone. But you gotta remember, your body has just been through a major trauma. It needs to heal. So for those first few days, there are some really simple, really firm rules to follow. Think of it as protecting your heart while it repairs itself. Don't lift anything heavier than, say, a gallon of milk. Don't drive. Take it easy on the stairs. These simple things are crucial to prevent any extra strain. You're also going to go home with what's basically your new personal toolkit for heart protection, your medications. And these are your lifelines, truly. This isn't a short-term fix. It's your long-term strategy. As you can see, they all work together as a team. Aspirin prevents new clots, beta blockers ease your heart's workload, ACE inhibitors lower blood pressure, and statins tackle that bad cholesterol. Taking these exactly as prescribed is one of the most powerful things you can do. But the physical healing, that's only half the story. A heart attack is a life-altering event, and the emotional journey is every bit as real and just as important. And listen to this. This is from a survivor named Julia Iacovelli, who had a heart attack at just 31 years old. Her words just perfectly capture that psychological impact so many survivors face. That constant replaying of the event, the fear it could happen again. What Julie went through, well, it's so common. And that's the key takeaway here. If you're feeling that fear, that anxiety, you are absolutely not alone. Up to half of all survivors report dealing with anxiety or even symptoms of PTSD. It's a completely normal response to a terrifying event.
Yeah, and this chart really paints the picture, doesn't it? Look at that, half of survivors dealing with anxiety or PTSD, a third with depression. It's a normal part of the process, and just recognizing that is the first step to feeling better.
But here's the really good news. There are proven strategies to heal these hidden scars. you don't have to go through this on your own. Cardiac rehab, for instance, isn't just about the treadmill. It's about community. Talking to counselors, joining support groups, and just sharing what you went through with people who get it can make all the difference in rebuilding that trust in your own body.
All right, so let's shift gears. Let's talk about turning recovery into empowerment. This is all about taking back control and setting yourself up for a healthy future. Number 1, with a bullet. If you smoke, quitting is the single most powerful, most impactful thing you can possibly do for your heart. Period. It is a total game changer for your long-term health.
Okay, next up, get moving. Once your doctor gives you the green light, of course. We're aiming for about 30 minutes of activity on most days. And listen, this doesn't mean you have to run a marathon. A nice, brisk walk is fantastic for strengthening your heart. Remember how we talked about the emotional toll? Well, managing stress is a huge piece of this puzzle. Chronic stress physically wears on your heart, so you've got to learn your limits. Find what works for you to unwind, whether that's meditation, yoga, or just some quiet time in nature. And finally, let's talk about being prepared. Think of this as your peace of mind kit. Putting together a simple home emergency kit can make a world of difference. Having chewable aspirin, your nitroglycerin if it's prescribed, and a simple list of your meds and contacts all in one spot can save precious time in a crisis. Look, surviving a heart attack is without a doubt a second chance at life. So the question is, how will you use it? By taking control of your health? By being prepared? You're not just surviving. You're setting the stage to absolutely thrive.